Happy Monday. So just giving you a quick update here. I usually have my iPad in front of me, but I'm kind of just running off the cuff here. What I'm doing is a lot of restructuring of some data and stuff. Look, I mean, 12-ish, 13-ish months ago when I started this, I mean, honestly, I didn't know nothing about nothing, right? Like I never built a software application that has gotten this much volume. We're processing millions and millions and millions of requests a day. It's very, very humbling, but also requires some architecture upgrades, which I'm doing now. Like I said, you shouldn't see, any downtime or anything like that. Everything's running smoothly now, but we realize if we're going to kind of scale past this, as we seem to do, I've stopped all client acquisition, but even affiliates and everything is still rolling in. That we need to strengthen the architecture just some more, just to handle the scale, especially at the rate that everything is kind of happening. I'd rather focus on infrastructure and everything right now than feature and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we're moving over to some platforms and striking some enterprise deals, doing some things like that to making sure that everything runs even a bit more smoothly. And then even on the interface, we're not doing a crazy reshape of the interface, but I am going to do some things that I have noticed as far as like user, like when new people come on the platform, where they're going, we have analytics on where everybody's clicking, where everything's going. So I'm going to make things a bit more easy to find. As you can see, even now in the like assistant portal, like the test and debug thing has been moved temporarily, which will be kind of not deprecated, but moved to a more robust testing and debugging structure where it also has all of your tool calling and everything in there, so that you can see that happening. So it's a bit more robust of a testing infrastructure, and then we'll also give you analysis and also allow you to ask questions about a conversation. Like if you're like, oh, but it didn't do yada yada yada, you just ask the assistant and say, oh, it's because your prompt says this, and you should probably say this instead. So it just makes everything a bit easier. So architecture, infrastructure, yada yada yada, all the boring stuff, right? Interface stuff to make things a tad easier. Again, not a crazy change, but just changing it around to make things easier to find. Also, we're along with kind of the infrastructure and the data stuff, cleaning everything up to make things more accessible, easy to find, and then also for things like page load and searching and things like that, makes it a ton easier. We're going to move a lot of things to the server side rather than running on the client side, which if you're not nerdy like me, that just means that it's not going to run in your browser. It's going to run on a server somewhere and be sent to you. Just makes things load a little bit faster. And then we're going to restructure some of the data to make sure that everything's, nice and crispy, nice and clean. Everything's loading really, really quickly. Everything loads accurately, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Again, kind of going with this whole volume thing. Again, millions and millions and millions of requests a day, and 45, 50,000 page views a day. It's starting to, we probably need to strengthen things up. We're also going through some security stuff again at this level. Data security, privacy, things like that is becoming a bigger thing than it used to be, right? And even though there hasn't been any active threats or anything like that, I do want to go ahead and be proactive about it, because this is a lot of data. This is your data, this is your client's data. So we're going to get really, really proactive in data security, and then cyber security as well, just to make sure everything's clean and good to go. We're also going to be scaling up, kind of going to the infrastructure thing, scaling, going over to some different platforms. Again, you shouldn't notice anything from your side. If anything, you should notice it should run faster, it should run better, it should run cleaner, things like that. So interface change, infrastructure. I've seen some requests and things like that. We're going to go through some of the support queries, things like that, making sure that everybody's taken care of where they need to be. I'm also going to make sure that the whole support system in general is up to standard with where it should be, making sure everybody's getting all the help that they need, and if they don't, that we have some sort of resource for you, whether that's click-through demo, video, documentation, or at least some communication in some way, somehow, somewhere. I got some done. It was nice to connect with some people last week, and usually, funny enough, always came back to OAuth as like the main thing. And so we even had some of the ones where it's like it wouldn't reply. Turned out to be the whole double messaging thing in OAuth. And so I always say just do a hard reset of OAuth if something's not working perfectly as it should. Or check your Go high level side. It tends to be like 99% of the support problems. But I'm just kind of keeping my finger on the pulse there, making sure everybody's getting taken care of, and then obviously I'm building resources as much as I can. It's kind of crazy from where 12, 14 months ago, building something took I don't know, a couple hours, right? Like the infrastructure wasn't that crazy. It was you process a message and send it back to the CRM. But now it's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot going on. And so I'm strengthening infrastructure. There's some things you should see on calling, like warm transfers and things like that. Some things that have been requested, and some things that you may have needed but you didn't know you need. So like warm transfer and some other tool calls and things like that. Just making sure everything's cleaned up on that side. And then obviously voice is becoming kind of flagship, so that we're coming in here and making sure voice is supported with good concurrency and things like that. Again, just trying to chokehold vendors into higher rate limits and things like that to make sure that everyone is accommodated, especially when we start to do these more enterprise deployments. Like we have some locations that have an astronomical amount of sub accounts, an astronomical amount of like brick and mortar locations, and that's what we're doing now. And so I just want to make sure that that's all accommodated. So it's kind of going to be ghost mode for me, to be honest with you, over the next 24, 48 hours. I'm already on like a 36-hour sprint right now, and I'm going to continue rock and rolling. You already know that it's powered by Red Bull. So we're going to keep the train rolling. We're going to make sure everything's good to go. I see the things in the school group. I see everything kind of going on. I had the all saying I going on, but I am going to be a tad ghost mode because I do want to focus on this. I've been on meetings and meetings and meetings and relocated from my home and brought back to my home only to clean up. And you could even see I still have the storm, the storm things on the window. So we haven't even taken those off yet. But there's so much to do, and I'm just making sure that I can take care of everybody as much as possible. And I apologize if I don't get back within a timely manner. It's just it's crazy, man. It's very humbling. I'm always so excited. So that's kind of what I'm up to. And again, like all the feature requests and everything that everybody wants, yes, that's coming. But I want to make sure that these things are done right. Again, at this scale, this isn't what it used to be. It's not push out an update and perhaps if something goes wrong. This is if an update goes out and there's a bug. 20, 30, 50,000 businesses are affected at that moment there. And I just want to make sure that everyone's getting the service that they need. And again, we're making it more robust, making it more customizable. We're catching more errors from these different vendors, whether it's Go High Level, whether it's OpenAI, whether it's going to be the new cloud integration, the new Grok integration, Perplexity, whomever we add to the stack, making sure that we're fully aware of their stack alone, and making sure that we're mitigating all bugs and errors while being super, super robust and customizable for you. And again, changing over infrastructure to something that's a tad bit more scalable for some things that we have coming up in the future. Won't say it because I know I'm going to get the win is stuff. These are things that will be independent projects that will kind of be tied to it. Things like browser automation via AI, very, very fun stuff. But I won't get too much into it. But this some of the stuff we're testing in the lab right now. We're calling it the lab. We have these like set frames of things that we already have, plus new things that we want to push in the future that we're testing constantly. So that's a lot. It's a longer video than I want it to be, but I do love the interaction with everyone. I do miss it very, very, very much as it used to be. But right now I'm in ghost mode. I'm in sprint mode to make sure that everything's cleaned up, everything's transferred over to this newer infrastructure in a very robust way. And like I said, I was dehomed for like a week, so I'm back in my element now. I feel good. The quote unquote jet lag, whatever you want to call it, car lag, 15-hour drive or whatever it is, it's kind of wore off now. We're kind of we're well rested, and so it's full steam ahead. So I have some calls today, but mostly my calendar's blocked off for the next 2 days. And then you'll see some resources and stuff. You can already see some of the API endpoints populating. You can see the work going on. It's mostly back-end stuff, so probably bore most people. Most people don't care. But I always want everybody to know what I'm up to. We build in public. We make sure everybody's fully aware and fully transparent on everything that we're doing. So there's your 10-minute Monday thing. Let me pause this, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, just going through everything, so it's you hear it, it's there. So we have the official support portal with roadmap, community portal, everything like that. Anthropic, Grok integrations along with API key allowance for OpenAI, at the agency and sub-account level. The getting started, so we're going to have a get started menu for those who join the platform, or if you're selling this as a SaaS and you have a client that's going in there, we'll have a get started that kind of walks them through everything. I saw someone pointed out the logo was in one of the click-through demos, so that we'll get that all taken care of. Copy bot by ID and templates, and some snapshots like the infinity follow-up, etc. Worked really, really well. I had to cut off ads because I can't handle that volume right now. I need to focus on what's going on. I can't take sales calls all day. And then API docs and documentation is being built out as we know it. Knowledge prompt, custom tools, some safety guide rails around there, voice cloning beta, toolkits, switch on and off markdown parser, all these things we know. And I'm trying to see what else. A couple other things that are coming up, not super important right now, but there's what I'm working on. I hope that's a good update. I hope you had an amazing weekend. I'll have to put make a video of this area and how bad it got hit. We were going through, there's a neighborhood right down the road. I mean, it's 5 minutes down the road. And there were literally houses moved off of their foundation and moved across the street. You had to go around them in the street. It's kind of crazy. So if you're looking for a great place to prospect, maybe help somebody out, give them good prices, help them get back on their feet, stimulate the economy, it would be probably an area like this: Port Charlotte, Sarasota, Inglewood, mostly the places that got hit by the hurricane. Probably good places to reach out and see how you can help, and potentially build some relationships in this area. It's a really good one, and they're all rebuilding right now. So hopefully that's helpful. You know where I'm at, you know what I'm working on. Again, ghost mode, but ghost mode right now is probably going to be the best course of action to make sure that everything is done in a timely manner. So if I don't respond for the next 24, 48 hours, don't hate me. You could hate me. It's totally, it's up to you. It's a free country. But I hope it's, in my mind and in my observations, it may be for the best of just making sure that everything is cleaned up so that you don't have to reach out to me for any urgencies or anything like that. And again, I see things, I write them down, and we're also vector storing a lot of this stuff too. So talking too much, sorry. Happy Monday. I hope that's helpful. I will talk with you on Wednesday, where we will build some fun stuff. Probably tomorrow night, probably most likely tomorrow night. I'll host a late night build sesh, or we can get on BuildShip. I'll show you some AI automation stuff if you're on the AI automation side of this thing. And then also, tying that in with custom tools as well. So tons of fun stuff coming up. Talk soon. Happy Monday. Have a great week.